Good morning, everyone. Jane Monreal here with you just after 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. A somber day as today marks 10 years since 9 people were killed at a church shooting in Charleston. This happened on this day back in 2015, where white supremacists came in during a Bible study at Mother Emanuel AME Church, killing 9 black worshipers. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is there. He did talk to some people and got their reaction, again, as the community marks this somber day. It does appear that we are having a bit of a technical difficulty here. We will be working that out. In the meantime, it looks like out of Raleigh, the Senate Health Care General Assembly is having a meeting right now, and it looks like Jeff Jackson is speaking. Let's go to that here live on Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Clearly ripping intoxicating substance to try and sell him an intoxicating substance. The notion that that is in North Carolina lawful.
And looks like that sound is having a little bit of an echo situation. We're going to work that tweak out as well. A beautiful day, though. It is pretty nice. It does look nice outside as we take a look here along I-77. Traffic not too bad, and expect some heat and mugginess. We'll get to our Chris Mulcahy. He is headed to the studio very shortly here in the Live Impact studio. Okay, it looks like things have been worked out back at the state capitol. Here is Jeff Jackson on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Behalf. Some concerns about capacity, given how this would expand their current mission, and I trust this body to make sure they have the capacity to carry out any new mission that you give them. But NCDOJ is already positioned to cooperate with ALE to aggressively enforce this law to protect kids. Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, for being here this morning.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, ma'am. Senator Galey.
Thank you. Just in response to his comment, I just want to elevate, because the point about the advertising and using the child enticing packages is a good one. Page 11, line 43 of the bill starts the advertising regulations where companies would be prohibited from using the kind of things like the Attorney General has described.
Thank you, Senator Galey. Just a final comment. Hemp politics probably wasn't something you expect to deal with, but it's front of mind for a lot of people back in our home districts. The bill is comprehensive, covers a lot, but two of the most important pieces in this legislation, in my opinion, are the age limit on the purchase of these products and the purchase of the beverages. It's bizarre and somewhat incredible to me that it's currently 2025 and we do not have an age limit on the ability to purchase these beverages, yet we have an age limit on everything else. And I've been shocked by the pictures of the packaging that I've seen that some of these products are sold in. They look similar to the gummy packages that I see sold at the grocery store and marketed to children. It's not something we would permit anything else. I know that there is widespread agreement on age limitations in advertising, and they're particularly important. I think there's broad consensus to do something about this, so I hope that we're able to achieve that this session and get that across the finish line. With that being said, I know there's a lot of further work that's going to be done on this bill, and I look forward to engaging with everybody in that process. With that being said, is there a motion? I believe Senator Waddell made a motion. And just to clarify, I believe we had the PCS was noticed in accordance with Senate rules and is properly before the committee for a vote. So Senator Waddell makes a motion for a favorable report for the PCS, unfavorable to the original, with a referral to finance. Is that correct, Senator Waddell? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Signify likewise. Motion carries. Thank you all for being here, and we are adjourned.
Hi, everyone. We are coming back here in the Live Impact studio. It looks like that healthcare meeting wrapped up very abruptly, very quickly here at 9:07 on Live Impact News. Just want to let you know we are working out some tweaks here. Carlene is heavy on the controls and trying to get things up and running. We are up and running. Back to the state capitol now in Raleigh. This time, House Finance Committee is meeting. That meeting just got underway, and we'll get you back to it here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
All opposed, no. The amendment is adopted. Further discussion or debate? Representative Warren.
For the bill sponsor, please. Question. On the section for no discrimination in higher education against credits, degrees, et cetera, the stipulation is provided that the institution provided the credits, degrees, or certifications holds an accreditation from any. Representative Riddell, does those accreditations have to be done periodically, or I'm not familiar with that, but the reason I ask is if there's an elimination of the Department of Education, do these things fall off? How would that be addressed if the accreditation expires in the Department of Education and there anymore?
There you are. Thank you for the question. Mr. Chair, I'd like to refer to staff.
Mr. Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kyle Evans, Legislative Analysis. Representative Warren, to directly answer the question, this bill does not, or this provision does not address what happens if the United States Department of Education stops issuing accreditations to institutions. I would simply say that were that to happen, there would probably be a series of legislation that this body would need to put forward that could more ably address this.
Further questions? Yeah, Representative Lopez, excuse me.
Thank you. Just a question for the bill sponsor.
Sir?
Just a question.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
Just out of curiosity, what is up with the flag provision in the bill, and what would constitute a reasonable or unreasonable regulation on the size or manner of a flag being placed?
Representative Riddell.
I will defer to staff once more.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Jennifer McGinnis, Legislative Analysis. Well, the criteria for local government would be whether it was necessary to protect public health and safety. So that would be the bright line.
Further discussion or debate? Representative Carver, you're recognized for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, regarding House Bill 926, favorable report on the PCS, unfavorable to the original with the referral to rules.
And enrolled into a new committee substitute.
Yes, sir.
Members of the committee, you've heard the motion on the floor. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Representative Riddell.
I thank the chair and the committee. Thank you.
This time we will go back to House Bill 661. Representative Brody. The PCS is already properly before us. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please forgive me for my tardiness. It's something I couldn't avoid. Mr. Chair, if you want me to do something different, just let me know, but I'll go over. There are 4 provisions. Finance provision in particular in this. Section 1 deals with prohibiting inspection departments from charging fees for cancellation of inspections, and it says within 1 business day, so it's not the day of. You're still responsible for those inspection fees, but if they cancel them in enough time or they don't, they can rearrange their schedule. Section 3 is the remove general contract requirement for crediting in the engineered foundation. That is something date back to 1925, and I'll go into details if you wish on it, but that system of the General Contracting Board giving money to the UNC Engineering Foundation will cease. Section 4 is the just a fee required for doing what's called change-out inspections. It allows the local government to get some funds in order to handle the administrative work on those. And the 4th one was Section 5, which increases the formal bidding threshold for public contracts from $500,000 to $1.5 million. And Mr. Chair, your pleasure, how you want me to proceed further. Otherwise, I stand for questions.
Thank you. Representative Exavera, you are recognized to send forth amendment CSBGF-14.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment, the first one here, is found on page 11. It removes the language per violation. And it also returns the language that the reasonable attorney fee shall not exceed $5,000. And the reason for that is it seems very heavy-handed, and I don't know that many smaller builders will be able to handle or survive those violations once satisfied. And so I don't really see a need to increase fees on the builders in our state.
Representative Brody, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I don't have a copy of this amendment here, but if you're looking at page 11, you're talking about, may I ask, this is about the $5,000 recovery?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, on that, I'd ask the committee to vote no on this one, and the reason is, and interesting, a while back, we had a Supreme Court case with the dental board. You folks remember that one? And dental board, and it changed the dynamics of how licensing boards deal with unlicensed people. And what's happened after that is that the licensing board, general contractor, HVAC, electric, et cetera, have to fund that legal fee in order to prosecute and stop these unlicensed people from practicing what requires a license for. So before there was no method of recovering any of it, and then they put the $5,000 in here as a method of recovering some of that money that they've spent. Some of these things cost less, but some of them cost a lot.
Hi, everyone. Just want to get you quickly updated here at 9:15. All transparency. We are going to do a hard restart here for the Live Impact studio. In the meantime, this is live happening right now. The House Finance Committee, they are weighing several bills. One very important that our Julie Kay is following regarding tax dollars towards transportation plans in Mecklenburg County. So an important topic. We're going to leave you with this here on Live Impact News on WCNC+.
Punish existing contractors who have a run-in with the board. So I think that it's perhaps maybe it can be corrected to make a distinction between the two, because one is a violation and the other one is very much a crime.
Further discussion or debate? Representative Echeverria moves for the adoption of his amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed no. Opinion of the chair, the amendment is adopted. Representative Echeverria, you're recognized to send forth your second amendment.
The second amendment is on page 11. And this is let me get to it here. Page 11, lines 14, 15, and 16, where it says, so here are the situations where a license can be refused to issue, renewed, revoked, suspended, or restrict a certificate. It says willfully violates any provision of this article or any rules adopted by the board, and then point 4 says willfully violates any order of the board. The concern I have is this expands the power of the board and actually puts the rules that they vote on par with the statutes that we pass here in the General Assembly. And it's extremely empowering. I think it's going in the opposite direction that we're looking to go by expanding the power of this board, where their rules and their orders carry the force of a statute that has to come through the General Assembly. So I ask for your support on this amendment.
Representative Brody, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, this is a statute that comes, and it says renew, which is the new part, renew, revoke, suspend, or restrict the license. I would say if you stop violating these, and you never have to bump into any of these things, but if you're going to water down the ability of the licensing board to go after unlicensed people or those licensed people who violate the statutes, I mean, I think your amendment is going right towards that. Is that what you want to do? And if that's what you want to do, then you go ahead and vote for this. I would say if you want the licensing boards to patrol the licensees, I mean, you have to leave this in place. There's no other enforcement mechanism we can go to the Wild Wild West if you want. We can do that by statute too, but I think the first violation of code, the public is going to be in an uproar, and they're going to demand this stuff back. So once again, Mr. Chair, I respectfully ask that the committee reject this amendment.
Representative Escobar.
I actually want to go in the exact direction that you're saying, except without empowering and growing the strength of agencies and boards in the state. We have statutes that builders, contractors, people in business have to abide by. And to lose their license over any rule adopted by the board is the exact opposite direction that we're going in on reg reform, that we're going in with the REINS Act. It seems like a step backwards to me.
Further discussion or debate? Representative Echeverria moves for the adoption of his amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the amendment fails. Further discussion or debate on House Bill 661? Representative Butler.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to speak to the bill briefly.
Yes, ma'am. You're recognized. Speak on the bill.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention, and Representative Brody, you may be aware of this, I know that DHHS has continuing concerns about the cold pool portion of it. Are you continuing to work with them on that concern about microbial growth and that sort of thing?
Representative Brody.
Yes, in fact, I just saw that this morning, and I don't have any objections to it out of respect for the people who proposed this. This wasn't my provision. This was asked to be added. I haven't had a chance to speak with them, but the language that they had, I personally don't have any objection to, subject to, maybe there's something I don't know from the...
One more follow-up, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Butler.
Would you, Representative Brody, would you be agreeable that we could add that language here in committee, and we could do a quick amendment to that effect, and I can get with staff before we finish committee?
I would, from here, we're going to rules, right? I would say save it for the floor. At least give a chance to have those people who propose this have a say in it, but save it for the floor.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Representative Warren, you're recognized.
For a motion, please.
In a moment. Representative Lopez.
Yeah, just a quick question. Representative Brody, just kind of curious about the thought behind raising the threshold for public bidding on contracts to $1.5 million as opposed to $500,000.
Representative Brody, you're recognized.
Well, it's $500,000 now. They're raising it to $1.5 million. This statute hasn't been, I think they said 12 years, 18 years, something like that. So just do the math on inflation, and this would put it in par. I mean, there was talk of raising it even farther, but because of anticipated inflation. But we settled for this. I think things went up 3-4 times since 18 years ago. But that's what it is. It's strictly inflation.
Further discussion. Representative Warren.
Yeah, I move for a favorable report. Favorable report to the PCS for 661, unfavorable to the original with a referral to rules.
Enrolled into a new committee substitute.
Love it.
You're welcome. Members of the committee, you've heard the motion on the floor. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried. Thank you, Representative Brody.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Cunningham, thank you. At this time, we will hear House Bill 8. Representative Warren moves to have the PCS before us. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The PCS is properly before us. Representative Warren, you recognize to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a bill we passed 3 different times out of the House to the Senate. Passed it once unanimously, once Representative Kidwell voted against it, and the last time Representative Winslow voted against it. But it's been pretty much the same bill every single time. The only changes to the bill this time is, as usual, the dates and the title. We did remove the $50,000 appropriation to the NC Collaboratory, but we left in the study. And we did add a new section. This bill, as you know, pertains to the government's role in managing environmental waste. We have a caveat in here, or another provision, that would allow people to apply to DEQ for a beneficial use determination, which would authorize certain types of non-hazardous solid waste to be used or reused at a particular site as an alternative to being dumped in a permitted solid waste management facility. I appreciate your support and would ask for a favorable report to the PCS, unfavorable to the original with a referral to rules.
Further discussion from the committee. Members of the committee, you've heard the motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill has passed finance. Good luck on 4 times being a charm, Representative Warren. At this time, we will hear House Bill 543. Representative Charles Smith, you're recognized to explain the bill, and Representative Howard moves to have the PCS before us. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The PCS is properly before us. Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. Committee members, House Bill 543 does exactly what the title suggests. It amends the Uniform Athletes Agent Act in Article 9 of Chapter 78C to require that all applicants for registration or renewal as an athlete agent consent to criminal background checks, and with refusal to that consent constituting grounds for the Secretary of State to deny a certificate of registration or renewal. Last thing it does is it increases the cost of the registration or renewal from $200 to $250 just to reflect any incidental expenses incurred by the Secretary in performing these acts, or at this point the State Bureau of Investigation. Really, motivation for this bill comes from the fact that younger athletes will be able to profit from their name, image, and likeness, and with that they may seek the services of athlete agents, and these, frankly, kids will be often much younger than professional athletes, much less sophistication, and I think there's the potential for abuse or exploitation given the lack of knowledge and experience, or at least that exposure is there. So I think this bill will help to curb it. There may be some additional things we should think about in this area, but I thought this was a good first step. And I'll stand for any questions.
Representative Warren.
Just for a motion at appropriate time and a comment.
You're recognized for a comment.
I think it's a good bill. I really like the background checks on that, and at the appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion.
Representative Escavera. Thank you.
For a question, please.
Yes, sir.
What is so once the background check is done, I'm really interested in this. I have sons who may very well be good enough to need an agent. What is the consequence if the background check comes back that they're felonious or they have a criminal history? Are they still agents?
I mean, I suppose that they could still engage in activity of an agent, but they wouldn't be registered with the state to perform that service. They would be unlicensed in a sense.
So there is a consequence. I just didn't read it here.
Yeah, the consequence would just be that the license is not issued, or they're not able to register with the state as an athlete agent.
Okay. Follow up.
Follow up.
And what is I love the bill. I love the spirit of it. What is the reason for increasing the fees?
Well, I guess one is it's a 200 to 250 is a relatively nominal increase, but to the extent that the background check, which has not been codified, I think the Secretary of State they generally utilize a third party background check provider to do this, but to the extent they incur additional cost in performing these background checks, that's what it's meant to cover.
Okay. Thank you.
Further discussion. Representative Wheatley.
I just wanted to comment. I think it's a good bill, too, and also would like to make the motion if appropriate.
Representative Wheatley. Further discussion from the committee. Representative Wheatley, you're recognized to make a motion.
Thank you. I would like to move a favorable report to the PCS, unfavorable to the original, and refer to rules.
Members of the committee, you've heard the motion on the floor. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. And House Bill 543 has passed the Committee on Finance. Representative Smith, we appreciate you being here. Members of the Committee for Information Purposes and Housekeeping, 2 bills will be referred to the Annexation, De-Annexation Subcommittee, House Bill 337, City of Southport, and House Bill 338, Town of Oak Island. This time we will take up House Bill 829, Locksmith Licensing Act Modernization. Representative Sheetzel, you are recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the committee for your consideration today.
Excuse me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Yes, sir.
Representative Lofton, you were Excuse me. Paperwork's not catching up with me at the time. You're recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Locksmith Licensing Act Modernization Bill was requested by the Locksmith Licensing Board. I'll really quickly just hit the highlights of the bill. First thing, it touches 3 different areas. First is licensing, second is training, and the third is the jurisdiction of the board. So with regard to the licensing part, there is the addition of a business fee or a business licensing fee for that a locksmith business would need to pay to the licensing authority. The reason for that is to enable them to better police some of these scam businesses that have been out there for a very, very long time. These scammers have become increasingly sophisticated, and it's become not just an issue within the industry, but also a human trafficking issue where they are preying on people and enlisting them to go out to businesses and scam them, giving them tools, not giving them the training to conduct the services that they need to conduct. So that's the first piece. The second piece is training. We're expanding the number of apprentices that a locksmith can take on, as well as standardizing the training available for apprentices. And then the jurisdiction piece, this bill would clarify that your roadside assistance companies and your auto parts stores, certain retailers, are not under the jurisdiction of the licensing board. Those are the substantive changes I think that this bill makes, and with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Representative Escovedo.
Motion at the appropriate time.
Representative Kidwell.
A question for the bill sponsor.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, on page 3, there is an institution of some new fees. How did we arrive at those amounts?
The new fee is simply for the business license fee. $100 for a locksmith business, I would say, hate to use the same word that Representative Smith just used, but a fairly nominal number, just something to allow the locksmith licensing board to keep track of these entities that are out there.
Follow up?
Follow up.
As an accountant, I pay, I believe it's a $50 a year fee. I don't think they've changed it in quite some time. But I've always maintained on this committee that we don't put a lot of thought into how we come up with the fee amounts. And to me, government fees should be based on the cost of administering the program. So the question would be, do we know whether or not this covers the cost of the program?
You're recognized.
I would have to defer either to staff or to I don't believe we have somebody from the Locksmith Licensing Board here today.
Mr. Giddens.
Nick Giddings, Legislative Analysis. So I can't speak to exactly how they came up with the $100 fee. However, if you'll notice, it states that the board shall establish fees not to exceed an amount, which is $100. So the board can set the fee presumably up to the cost of administering that license, as long as it doesn't exceed $100.
Further discussion from the committee. Representative Escovedo, you recognized for a motion.
I move for a favorable report on House Bill 829 with a referral to rules.
Members of the committee, you've heard the motion on the floor. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried. Thank you, Representative Cecil. We appreciate you being here. Members of the committee will take up House Bill 948, the PAVE Act. Representative Cottom, you're recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, committee members. House Bill 948 passed the Transportation Committee on Wednesday unanimously, and it is before you today. The acronym for PAVE stands for Project Advancing Vehicle Infrastructure Enhancements. This was actually created by one of my constituents who wrote that out, so he's watching and want to give credit to him. For the purposes of the Finance Committee, this bill will give the ability for the Mecklenburg County Board of County Commissioners to put forward on this November ballot a 1-cent sales tax to improve our transportation opportunities in Mecklenburg County only. With that, the authority that will be created will make sure that 40% of our funding goes to rail, which is of specific importance to our northern part of the county, 40% for roads, which means all 6 towns in Mecklenburg County will receive funding specifically for roads, and 20% for buses and other transportation opportunities. Also, in addition to this, and specifically for this committee, the authority that is created is a 27-member governing body with 3 of those appointments coming from Raleigh, 1 from the House, 1 from the Senate, and 1 from the governor, 6 from the Mecklenburg County Commission, and those are very specified seats to make sure that we have like an unincorporated person represented, business community represented. The towns will each have 1 designee. The city of Charlotte, being the most populated, will have 12 appointments. Again, those are strictly specified. And I mentioned the state, so 27 total to put this on the ballot for Mecklenburg County voters to decide if they want this or if they do not. Just doing our job, and I want to give commitment to my Mecklenburg County delegation who are here today, Representative Carney, Lopez, and Lofton, who have been a vital part of this bill for Mecklenburg County. We also made sure that Mecklenburg County, since it is so highly populated and could easily dominate or prioritize any type of STIP funding, that will not be allowed. So so Union and Iredell, who we are in partnership with, will not lose out on projects, so that Mecklenburg County, so that there will be fairness. That is something that stakeholders expressed, and that is in this bill, just to keep everyone fair. But again, for Mecklenburg County only. And we ask for your support. Mr. Chairman, I tried to go as fast as I possibly could. Thank you for hearing this bill today.
Yes, ma'am. Questions or comments from the committee? Representative Carney.
For a motion.
I'll hold that for now. Further questions or comments from the committee? Representative Ross. Thank you. Representative Carney.
Yeah, we moved kind of fast here. There are a lot of municipalities listed here on page 3. Have we heard anything from these municipalities, or are we going to hear? Is there anybody here from a municipality that's represented, other than maybe Charlotte?
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Cotham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Ross. One thing that is so just awesome for Mecklenburg County is all the 6 towns and the buy-in, particularly when it comes to the road money. I think there is a bit of concern with one of the towns that I represent, the town of Matthews. That could possibly be just some of the confusion that the PCS to this bill just came out last week. I've had the privilege to represent Matthews since 2007 and look forward to continue to work to better Matthews, working with the town, but also the constituents, and we'll make sure that everybody's on the same page. But, you know, with any type of big bill as this is a massive project. If everybody is completely happy, it's not good legislation. I'm sure the city would like some things changes back to that STIP funding that I mentioned. I'm sure one town might want a little bit more money, but this is a bill that's been very thought out, have a lot of buy-in and a lot of support. Still some confusion, which is normal for anything that is so complex, and I ask for your support.
Representative Ross.
Follow up.
Follow up.
You mentioned Matthews, and I had that underlined on page 3. Is anybody here from Matthews? I mean,
apparently so.
Yes.
Would you approach the podium and please make brief comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Commissioner Ken McCool from the town of Matthews. Let me be clear, the town of Matthews always and will support public transit. We have supported, expanding rail access for years. The county and regional partners have spent over $40 million in taxpayer dollars designing Silverline East, the rail that will come to Matthews. This plan doesn't build that rail and waste those tax dollars. In the current form, the PAVE Act is not something we can support. To make matters worse, this proposal would give Mecklenburg County the highest tax rate in the state, and in return, we're having a bad deal. It's not just leaving out us, it's also leaving out East Charlotte and Union County.
Thank you for your comments. Members of the committee, Representative Carney is recognized for a motion.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me. I move that we give House Bill 948 a favorable PCS favorable report.
You've heard the motion on the floor. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 948 has passed finance. Members
Thank you, members
committee,
of the committee.
Thank you. Members of the committee, we appreciate your attendance and your kind patience. This meeting's adjourned.
Hi, everyone. Jane Monreal here back with you at 9:40 Tuesday morning. You are watching live Impact News on WCNC Plus. If you were with us here at 9 o'clock, we had a few malfunctions, not a wardrobe malfunction, but a computer malfunction.
We had a bit of a meltdown.
A little bit, Carlene.
Technically.
Right? Look, I mean, if you can see this two-woman crew here in the Live Impact studio running things.
We have 3 monitors.
3 monitors.
We're outnumbered.
Each side.
Each side. We're wildly outnumbered.
And yeah, they started having a meltdown.
Yes. There's a domino effect. We said the house came crumbling down.
So-
We built it back up. We're back up.
We had to take
Hi,
care of
everybody.
things. We had to get the reinforcements back in here.
Yes.
We did. We're good to go. And we left you in good hands anyway. That was a meeting that we were going to take live with you here at the North Carolina General Assembly. So it looks like that meeting wrapped up. That was the Finance Committee meeting. We also had a Transpo meeting. So our state lawmakers, a little bit busy there. Up in our state capitol before summer session lets out. So we will get back to the state level here as other meetings are going to get underway. In the meantime, it is a hot one outside this morning. Did you feel how gross it was?
Gross.
Let's not mince the words, right?
It was gross. We'll be honest here.
Yeah, check this out. Beautiful picture of uptown Charlotte. The sun is shining. It is quite muggy. And so these are the days of summer. Chris has been talking about it anyway. We're going to be on the uptick, boom, boom, 90, feeling like 95. July coming in a little bit early, summer coming in a few days prematurely. But that's what you're dealing with. So I don't know, if lunch outside, some people do like it in the shade. What do you think?
I mean, if you had a sandwich out in this humidity, it gets soggy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a soggy
So
mess.
I don't know if if you're a brave soul and you don't mind soggy bread, eat
Yeah.
outside.
When you're sweating in the shade, you know it's
That's when you
humid.
know.
Yeah, that's when you know. Carowinds might be the place.
I mean, you know what? You'd cool off on a roller coaster.
A little cool down there. They have that new adult pool,
That's
I
true.
believe, right?
That's true. They have a whole water park. They have that adult pool now. I mean, Carowinds might be the place.
So that
to
might be a
go.
good call. Standing in line
Wear a hat, some sunscreen.
might be a little.
If you do go
Yes,
out there.
that might be a little tough.
Yeah.
And where is Chris, by the way? Do you know?
We're waiting Chris Mulcahy's arrival.
Someone get Chris.
This is what we call in the biz a tease. Chris is coming.
We need to talk about it. All right, I'm just going to pull up his graphics.
Sure.
Right?
Why not?
Right, and this is what he said, and this is what I just said seconds ago. In the 90s, low 90s, but it feels much hotter as he is making his way in here. Chris, we were just talking about you.
I'm locked out of my account, but I can still log on. I need a
He can
laptop
still.
or something like that.
All right, he needs a laptop.
Of some sort.
All right. Well, here. Let me get you mine. In the meantime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's that?
We're
We're
live.
on right now.
We're live right now?
Yeah.
We are live.
So I just said that I was stealing your thunder about these heat indices.
Hey, heat indices are great there. Let's see. So I just have to log in over here.
This is what we call tap dancing. On Live Impact News.
This is just that kind of day.
It's that kind of day.
Look at this. This is Chris right here.
Wow. I don't even
Chris,
know.
give a wave.
His shoulder's right here. He's signing in.
Oh, there it is.
The quasi stationary front.
That's what they call me. That's what it looks
Quasi-stationary
like.
front.
I remember.
I have more cameras from around town. Check this out. Bam.
Oh, Gastonia.
Honey Hunter, it looks gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
It looks
I
like
know in the summer that I like to go a couple times last summer.
Yeah.
I went up to Boone.
Yes.
And
you go to the mountains because it's a little cooler
it's
there.
at least 10 degrees cooler.
Right.
And it was very pleasant. A lot of people
Yeah.
escaping to the mountains. So if you can do that, an hour and a half, 2 hours depending.
Yeah. Not
just
bad.
a little bit of a cool down for you there.
If you're not too far, the Ghost Peppers play tonight, by the way.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm. They're at home.
Okay.
So it's
And
6:30.
then, the Knights are in town.
The Knights
They've
are
got
in
a home
town.
stretch.
Which, by the way, I was looking at it. There's a chance for storms on Thursday. She said you were going.
That's your day,
That
Jane.
was my day. I think my husband was looking at tickets this morning
Oh.
too. I don't know if we got a chance for storms. What does that even mean?
It looks like scattered storms at the end of the day. Some could be strong to severe. So just letting you know that is going to be a good chance
Okay.
of that.
All right, good to know. Good to know. He's still.
Yeah, I'm still trying to.
We're still clicking away.
You know, it's one of those days, though, Chris, that we right at the 9 o'clock top of the hour, our computers
Everything crashed.
started crashing.
Oh, okay.
It happened.
It was fun. It was
It was an adventure
Yeah.
for the whole group.
Yep.
Our assistant news
We haven't had a day
director,
like that
chief-
in a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
So now I see how this is so easy right now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm having trouble even logging on over here. It's just one of them days.
Mama said.
I didn't say it enough of that to get
Just
copyright
one.
infringement.
You need 14 seconds.
Oh, okay. See, all right, we had more
One of
words.
them days. All right, what is that?
That's Lake
beautiful
Norman.
Shot? Lake Norman?
Yep.
Okay. This is where you need to be.
Yeah.
So, do you only have cameras right now, then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll roll with it once we get these weather graphics.
The talking and getting lined up to a computer with technical challenges.
It's part of the fun. You can only get it here.
Welcome to being.
This
a
is how the
weather
sausage is
person.
made, people. Like,
they make vegan sausage.
That's true. If the dominoes go down, we all go down together.
House of Cards,
That's
right
right.
here. House of Cards. Anyway, Lake Norman, beautiful place.
I do have something we can entertain the people in the meantime. Our Danielle Stein talked to Xavier Leggett, who is
great
Panthers wide receiver and internet darling.
Internet darling?
He is an internet darling.
All right. All right. This is a good conversation.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to Danielle Stein and her one-on-one with Xavier Leggett.
Correct.
Here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Might just be the busiest man in the NFL in this offseason. Walk me through what the past couple months have been like for you, from, going to the Derby, going to hockey games, doing music, but also, of course, staying pretty involved with getting ready for the season as well.
Oh, yeah, man. This offseason, it's been great to me. I've been doing a lot of things I thought I'd never do. For like going to that Kentucky Derby, I always wanted to go there. I was able to go. That hockey game, that was probably the best one I done went to. I ain't gonna lie to you. The Kentucky Derby was live too, but that hockey game was different. And I plan on going to another one.
But it seems like, from the outside, it seems like you're just having a lot of fun between things off the field and on the field. I even saw your coach say, when I see Xavier smiling, I know he's in a good space. Is that kind of the space you're in right now? You're just having a good time between getting ready for football and also enjoying life outside of football?
Oh yeah. The energy in the building is great as well, man. Like all of us having fun right now. We out there making plays, flying around. Man, we just trying to sustain that throughout the whole year.
Going from that year one to year two jump is a big deal for people, especially that rookie learning curve is gone and you now have that experience under your belt. How are you going to be planning to take your rookie year experience as you're moving into year two?
Turn all the negatives I had last year into positive. And then I'm just trying to progress forward, not backwards. Just make this season better than last year.
You had your rookie season, you were a target for Bryce. Now you're in a room with a pretty diverse, as they've been saying, wide receiver group. What are your thoughts on getting to work with T-Mac and Jimmy Horn and adding Hunter Renfrow into the mix as well? Do you like the competition that brings?
Oh yeah, for sure. And we're just trying to make each other better. Man, it's been going good these 8 weeks. It's just going to continue to get better.
What was OTAs like for you? What was minicamp like for you? We saw you out there make some good catches. Some people were noting as well, you were looking pretty kind of twitchy out there, pretty quick as well. Is that something you were looking to focus on this offseason?
Oh man, this is something that I done been since college. As long as my body good, it's gonna be a different player.
How does that change your mentality when you're coming into a season that you're feeling healthy, you're coming off of a successful surgery, and you're feeling good? Does that help your mindset as well?
Oh yeah, for sure, because I'm not really thinking about how I'm gonna get through the day. How am I gonna be able to tolerate this pain?
So it seems like you're doing a pretty good job of balancing these fun off the field things as well as, putting the work in. I know Bryce was even noting how it's pretty clear that you've been doing a lot of work on your game so far this summer. How do you find the balance of doing both?
Man, the fun can only last for so long. I gotta get back to work. So I put a lot of time into this football thing. Yeah, the fun, the fun that can come, but this is what matters. This is what's important.
When you look back to your season, obviously you were just saying you know there's areas where you would like to personally improve. Who's helping you within the coaching staff or other teammates to kind of help you achieve those goals as well?
The receiver coach play a hand in it. Adam Thielen, he play a hand in it. And at the end of the day, it's just gonna all come to the things that I can do for myself.
Tell me about Thielen, what he's been doing to help you as well.
He has a lot of knowledge. So he gonna put his input no matter what, whether you like it or not.
Now you're in this group where there are rookies. You're no longer the new kid on the block. How do you plan to help out the younger players as well too in your position group?
See me, man. For me, this how I do it is, if they have questions, I'm ready to answer them. But I really like for them to kind of figure it out on their own a little bit, because they have ways of how they got to implement for themselves. That's how I am as well, though. Like, I don't really want, like, if I got a question, I want somebody to help me. But as far as like just trying to tell me how to do it, I'd rather just figure it out on my own. So I kind of let them do it like that.
How has your relationship with Bryce grown now that you've had one season in the books?
Man, it's growing. That connection is going to just continue to grow over the years. He's a young quarterback. I'm a young player in this thing. So as long as we can feed off each other, it's just going to keep growing.
What do you like about grilling? Is that like a fun hobby for you, would you say?
Oh yeah. Anytime that grill frying up, man, you bring the people together, have a good time and good vibe.
If you were hosting a barbecue cookout, what are you doing when you fire up the grill? What are you gonna be handling?
Oh man, I'm cooking everything. We got the music going. Man, it's just good vibe, man. Everybody pull up a chair to type and just vibe.
Steaks, burgers, hot dogs, chicken.
Steaks, burgers, everything.
Everything? Awesome.
Everything is everything, Chris. Wow.
Sure is.
Barbecue, grilling it up, but you're going to have to melt there with the cheese if you're good at barbecue.
No, I absolutely love this man. I think he is such a great personality.
Yeah.
That's why I said
Good
internet
people.
darling.
Mm-hmm. No, it's perfectly
Sounds like a good
put.
time. We want to hang out with Xavier.
Yeah, call in.
Let's come on in.
Call
come on
in.
into the live.
Yeah, I just want to be invited to the cookout if that's going to be a thing one day. We'll see. I'll try to stay optimistic. But I also, did you guys see the parody that he did? Where they had an overdub, and he's like, "This is actually my real voice."
Yeah.
I was like,
very Southern boy.
Yeah,
Mullen, South Carolina boy. That's out there.
That's great.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun attribute there. Sorry, I'm just getting my graphics. We're just having all the problems in the world.
We really are. It's really one of those days.
Chris, you're not a problem.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate it. I've heard otherwise in certain points in my life.
No.
Who would say that?
You know what we do have though?
What's that?
We have somebody going on. We have got someone on the Fury right now. Whee!
Whoa! Yeah, we've decided that we're gonna. We took JT for his birthday when he was 2. Of course, he's not going to be anywhere close to doing the Fury stuff.
I was going to say he doesn't meet height requirement.
Does he like rides?
Yeah, he loves the little kid rides.
Yeah,
over
that's
at
great.
Charlie Brown Town or whatever it's called, Snoopy Land.
Got to start him out early.
All right, what the heck is going on? Well, this is what you get for trying to do it on your phone. I wish somebody was listening for me and they could advance the graphics.
Is there anyone in the control booth?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, because I had my show and then it freaked out and then now it's trying to do that and this is what you're trying to.
Y'all, you're only going to get this here on Live Impact.
Yeah,
I know.
So
see this
yeah, I
sausage
mean,
is made.
if you watch WCNC Charlotte, you know there's the main studio with the TV.
Yep.
And then with the TV on linear.
Yep.
And then we come in here for the strictly stream version.
Correct.
Here in the Live Impact studio, and this is pretty much the room. You got to be in the room where it happens, and it's happening.
It's happening.
There. Do you think it's the graphic you made with Nick Sturdivant that's causing this?
It probably is.
Way to
it
go,
all
Nick.
comes down to Nick's fault.
Right.
Sturdivant, if you're listening.
Nick's ick. Nick
yeah.
is the ick today. Nick is the one. Nick's
Yeah.
the blame here.
Yeah. So Nick branded a Nick's pick and the Nick's ick.
Yeah.
And
The boy does not
Mulcahy
like sticky
here-
weather.
Yeah. I know.
Although
and he's
from
a
here.
Carolina boy.
That's what I'm like. He's from here. He knows sticky weather.
He knows about it.
Okay.
What do you think?
We have my graphics up, and we will get to the Nick's
We're gonna be
ick.
like the Fury
and-
as well.
Yeah.
Just imagine us on there.
I
wheels
also
off here.
want to have my ick about Nick's ick.
Okay.
Oh, the double ick.
Wow.
Is this a roast this morning? Are
Yeah,
we
no, it
roasting
is.
Nick?
I'm totally gonna roast Nick before he gets in here.
Love it.
Okay, let's go right to it. Yesterday officially was the hottest feeling day for Charlotte, Gastonia, and Concord. Those are the places that I looked into. Hit a high heat index of 95, 96, and here's the deal. This is technically our first heat wave of 2025. A heat wave is 3 days or more of 90 plus, but truly, our definition is because once you get into summer, it's 90 every day, so that doesn't work. So that would be exceptionally warm weather for the seasonal, per the seasonal norm. And we're going to be actually close to 100 on one of those days. So I think that is going to classify as our first heat wave, first real big heat wave, and that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So as of right now, we are looking A-OK. Our Dallas camera, of course, looks like it's down.
It's
this
not
is a
A-OK.
day. This is a day.
Isn't it though?
It's a day.
Like, the Dallas camera never does this. This is just an external source. That's crazy.
All right.
All right. But anyways.
I have it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you had it?
I have it.
Okay.
Isn't that it?
That's what I was trying to show you, because this is gorgeous.
It's
like,
pretty.
You have a nice mix of cirrus clouds. You got some cirrostratus up there. You got some cumulus that are starting to form down below. Some general stratus. And then even a little contrail, that little streaky line right on top. We are already up to 80 degrees, ladies and gentlemen, for our current temperatures. And that would be the newest update heading into the 10 o'clock hour. So going back to weather graphics,
Yep.
see Monroe over in the distance. Hickory at 72. There was a lot of dense fog that we were dealing with. Luckily, that is now starting to wane a little bit to the west. 89 was the high yesterday, but we had a real feel of 96 degrees and 90 degrees today. Oh, dude, I was about to come in and roast you, actually. This is good,
No,
Nick.
I texted him.
It was a little bit of
To,
a roast of Nick Sturdivant this morning.
I said.
Okay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna
Anyway,
get there.
we'll get there.
We're gonna get there. Well, we
Sorry.
have a sequence.
Take a peek.
So I have a high of 90 degrees today, and then as you can see here, look at those numbers. It feels like 94, 95, 96. So even with temperatures in the upper 80s, just as we had yesterday, yeah, you're still going to be feeling like the mid 90s. Now here we go. Here is the Nick's ick.
Is that the animation?
Yeah, that's the animation. Check it out.
That's great.
So I had Nick stand in front of the green screen so that I was able to make, as I call little people, as a little Nick there. So I asked Nick yesterday, hey, give me your Nick's ick. And he went through the 7-day and did a bunch of icks and picks. And the roasting I was going to do, because I called you out in the meeting with this, is did you just randomly just say ick on random days?
Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday.
There was a method? Well, okay.
Okay.
Can you explain the method?
All right, come here.
Okay, so the method is it's summertime, so it's always going to be hot.
Okay.
But it's levels to the heat, and also you got to factor in the rain, the storms.
Yeah.
I'm not a big rain guy. I'm not a big thunderstorm guy.
But you picked one of the days that there's no rain.
Ooh. He doesn't want the rain.
As a ick.
Is an ick?
That's
Wait, no, it was. Wait, never mind.
Explain yourself, Lucy.
No, you picked one of the days that has the best chance for rain for one of your picks. Is what I'm saying. Thursday.
Well, maybe I got wrong information.
Oh, that's true. Maybe it changed.
No, I'm joking.
Burn.
I stand on my
interdepartment
picks.
dispute.
I stand on my icks and my picks. It's really I'm an early riser, so I get up early.
Okay.
You know, it was very swampy this morning because today is an ick, right? Today is
Today
it was
is an ick.
very miserable. Mosquitoes hit me on my walk.
It
Oh,
was.
you went walking outside? I thought you don't do
Now,
that.
and also to defend him too, Friday is one of his picks is the lowest humidity. So we will give to this is
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
There's a method to
there
my
is a method to his madness.
There's
So
a method.
so I
Okay.
apologize because I was like, man, this guy is just dart throwing icks here. There, like I was like, okay, all right. So that makes
Okay.
sense. That
All right,
makes
so
sense.
does the explainer help with the ick?
I think so. I think so. We'll get a
right.
key. We'll get a legend. But also, we recorded a pick version. I only made the ick side of things.
know
I
what-
think it came out pretty good.
You know
did
my
you
favorite
think?
part is?
That's pretty fun.
Very nice.
The best part
Yeah.
of it is,
I love it.
quote, this is Nick's opinion. We
Yes.
have to put it there.
Yeah.
We have to put it out there.
Yeah.
This is Nick's opinion.
As a meteorologist, I have to firmly say that I can't take a biased point of
Right.
this. But I do confirm with it though, yeah, and also it's kind of perspective too, because like once you start feeling like this hot for the first time, that is an ick, and then you kind of get used to it. So yeah, so do you know what? Maybe there is.
I'll change. It will evolve. This is
all
a
right.
new concept. We
Okay,
came up with it.
that's true.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, so
already
this
grown.
is now a new segment here in the Impact Studio, Nick's Ick, and there will also be Nick's Picks. Again, this is all Nick Sturt event's opinion,
This is
not
Nick's
Chris
opinion.
Mulcahy's or any of the WCNC weather teams.
All right. It's all about you, Nick. Look, I've got you in the little computer here, ready to.
No, but in
something?
all actuality, do you mind? Here, let's bring up the
There we go.
graphics in, because now Nick
Yeah.
is going to be my Ick correspondent. 101 to 100 is the real feel on your picks.
Oof.
You know,
This is embarrassing.
Wednesday. It's not embarrassing because here's the thing: we've already got that hot day out the way,
Okay.
and so like you said,
There's
we're
no
kind
rain.
of
There's no rain.
yeah. There's no rain. There's
Yeah.
another factor. I'm not a big rain guy. Jane is looking at me like I've lost my mind,
No,
I'm
and
trying
she's
to,
questioning
I'm trying
my
to
picks.
understand you. Okay.
I don't. So okay, I am not a big fan of the rain.
Gotcha.
Being a reporter who
Yeah.
you know who likes being out in the rain reporting.
No.
you
Yeah,
know?
right. for
Okay, that's one thing. And then thunderstorms. I was terrified of thunderstorms as a kid.
sure. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And so
And also, in his opinion, the thunderstorm chance did get much worse for Thursday compared to what it was yesterday. So I'm being a nice guy here. But Friday, that I nailed it. That's a Nick pick right there all
That
the
is
way.
a Nick pick.
So good job.
Okay,
All
all
right,
right.
so there it is. Nick's ick is now a part of our general repertoire.
just
I
gonna-
appreciate you, dude. Okay, so moving on. This is one of my favorite products that the National Weather Service has come out with over the last year or so. So what you're seeing here is just the heat impact. So they use the word impact as well. By the way, Nick Sturt been leaving the building. Everybody, he'll be back here at 11.
He's preparing for
Well, not the building. He's just
12:30.
leaving the room. Yeah, he's preparing more icks. But once it hits the red, we start hitting the major criteria. So that means you have a major impact. Really, this is just saying that you're kind of close to that 100-degree point. That's where you could feel like 100 degrees plus. And by the way, for each of those numbers that I was calculating for the peak, I was factoring in what I think the peak moisture level is going to be and the peak temperature at the same time. So those are all my numbers. Only my number, so I'll take responsible. That's Chris's opinion, but it does. It does back up here that I think Thursday there's a good chance that more dry air starts to work in. So I have 100 as the max, but realistically, I think it might fall short more in the upper 90s. Which hey, that's always good. And then after that, Sunday we're right back at it, and I think this map potentially could have the magenta color, the extreme, by the middle of next week. So as I mentioned, we're going to be a whole lot hotter because we have the heat dome that's going to be over us. This is a big old ridge. So what this allows is just the heat to build, and one hot day will build another hot day on each other because you don't really have a chance to cool down. Lows will only drop down into the 70s overall. So I wanted to really show the extended forecast showing you that yes, this might be the first surge, but boy, are you looking at an interesting setup here. So you have a 70 to 90% chance of above normal temperatures for day 6 to 10 of the forecast. And why that's significant is our average at that point is actually moving up to 89 degrees. So that's showing that you have an equal chance to a great chance of getting up to at least the mid to the upper 90s. And I think absolutely that's going to verify. Check out this graph. I'll let this marinate for you. 98 degrees. Nick Lachey, how you doing? You have 96, 98, 97, 95. So I'm really curious with that on the board, what the Nick 6 is going to be next Monday, maybe or Tuesday. I think I have to give Nick one Monday to marinate it, so we'll do it on Tuesdays now.
Okay, good.
But this really just shows you that the heat is on. Officially, we're calling it summer late on Friday. And the big deal here is for the first weekend of summer, it's going to feel okay on Saturday, but we're turning it on right away. It's always the first weather event that's always the worst. It's always the first big rain after it's been dry that we have the most incidents and accidents. It's always the first snow of the season, even though we've stopped doing that for a couple of years, that you have the worst situations. And in this case, I usually see the highest levels, and I've talked to medics before, know people in the profession, that you have an exceptional amount of heat exhaustion cases, some extreme heat stroke, even with those heat indices getting to about 100 degrees. So I just want everyone to kind of just not overexert themselves. I always say, if you're feeling thirsty, drink. Don't push it too hard. I know that people from Texas are scoffing at this.
Right.
Becca joked about this. This is March in Texas.
No kidding.
But hey, not everyone's from there. A lot of people are from the Northeast and from the North, like I am. It took me a while to actually get used to the heat. I'm still not, but my AC was broken for a year, so that was how I kind of went trial by fire. It was too cheap to fix it. That's a different story. Yeah, so I just want everyone to know that. And also, now that we're in the summertime pattern, an isolated storm this afternoon might not affect, I would say, 80% of us, but with those that do, it's going to be a torrential downpour. There could be some wind damage. We already saw that. So there's always that chance for a bunch of lightning strikes, for isolated damage from these storms. Welcome to summer, y'all. But I think especially on Thursday late day heading into the evening, I am actually looking at a fairly good shot at a storm line that could form. So that would be, I think, a best chance for a severe storm. So let's get through it. Look at how low coverage the map is. So if you're a betting person, you would bet on today being dry. But we mentioned it off the top. Who did hear thunder last night? Anyone hear thunder last night?
Yes.
Yeah, you woken up by that? Well, I think we have a similar scenario that you have some isolated scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, but then watch. Once you get to the time of about, oh, it didn't stop. Why didn't it stop? Once you get to the time that's roughly around, let's see, I think I can go back. There we go. Midnight. So I think it's anywhere between about 9 and 1 a.m. We're going to have thunderstorms pushing through the area, same time as last night. And what's really interesting with this is you have what's a capping inversion. So it almost puts a ceiling on it, so it traps the sound. If you were to blow a foghorn in an open field, it would be loud, but it wouldn't be as much as if you enclosed it in a room. And essentially that's what happens whenever you have, especially this time of year, at night, the heat in the ground escapes, and it actually creates a little level here. So I think you're going to have some more loud thunder or some resonant thunder, so where it almost sounds like it lasts for up to a minute, because it's just the sound waves are bouncing here at the surface and it doesn't escape just because of what's called an inversion. So I thought that was a interesting little weather IQ. Going forward, here's that next storm chance. We have barely maybe one storm that pops up tomorrow, but Thursday, here's right around noon. And then once you get to about the 3 o'clock hour, 3 to 4, that's where you start to see clusters of storms. So when it's individual, it always has a chance of turning into strong downbursts, sometimes hail makers, depending on how big it gets. Once they start clustering together, wind damage starts to take over. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do have some isolated wind damage. And look at how this really flourishes. This also looks like we'd have more nuisance flash flooding that potentially could start to form heading into your Thursday. So if I were to give the weather highlighter for storms this week, I think it's definitely going to be Thursday heading into the evening going forward, and then beyond that, it should be clearing out through the evening, and then we actually should be dry for your Friday. So that pick verified. Your 7-day forecast, Juneteenth, is the day that has those storm chances. The summer solstice officially starts at 10:41 p.m. So with minutes to spare on your Friday, you are calling Saturday and Sunday the first summer weekend. And then after that, there it is, 94 actual air temperature on Sunday, likely feeling close to 100, 96 on Monday, and I already showed you 98 on Tuesday. So really the big summer surge is starting off next week. So actually today's 90, feeling like 95 to 98 actually seems cool compared to where we're going.
Okay. Do what you need to do in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, as we're filling time with things down, do you have any questions for me?
Questions from the gang, Carlene?
No.
Question for the game? No. Any other weather questions that you've been thinking about?
No.
No.
We're
Any
good.
broken light switches in your houses? Anything you want to talk about?
That's next.
That's next.
After,
Yeah. No, I
a
can't.
morning
I can't
like
help
today.
you with it, but just wanted if you wanted to get off your chest.
Well, I'm glad you finally were able to dial into your
Yeah, sorry
computer,
about
so
that.
No,
It's okay.
it's okay. It's just sort of par for the course
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah, like I'm without divulging too much information, we have an app where you're supposed to get a code, but then the app disconnected, and then for the app to the app was asking for a code, but that app gives the code, so I had like
So it's
so.
a vicious circle.
Yeah, so all of a sudden I'm doing that, and then it was asking me for a code, but then the app was asking for its own code, and I was like, "What do I do?"
What do I do here?
So yeah, no, we got it done.
Yeah,
The
we got
phone
it
is
done.
back and operational. I'll work on my laptop, and then you know what? Tomorrow we're gonna be hiccup free.
Oh, get it out of your system.
Yep, get it out now.
All right. Chris Mulcahy, always entertaining
Thank
and
you.
informational this morning.
I try to be.
With Nick's Ick. Now we're bringing him into the party, into the mix.
And that was a prime example because I said I could work you guys into our graphics. That was
Yeah.
very easy. I just asked Nick to stand in front of the green screen. And I created that icon.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
he did it great.
So,
Got some animation.
let's have some fun here in the Impact Studio.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Here from 9 to 11. Nick
We have
takes
fun.
over at 12:30, by the way. All right. See you, Chris. Back out here in the Live Impact Studio. Now just me running the board here for half a second with Carlene. Want to get you to a groundbreaking ceremony that is happening. This is the CMPD Police Department Northwest Division. So this is going to be a new area that they are breaking ground on. So let's take a look and a listen on Live Impact News on WCNC+.
CMPD, stay up there, please. And we'll get any other CMPD personnel that wants to join, please. I think I'm gonna be good. I think I'm good right here. Thank you, though.
All right, that is CMPD Chief Johnny Jennings there. He spoke earlier on the building of this new station that is going to be kind of in the Huntersville area. This is on Mount Holly, Huntersville Road. And photo ops here right now, obviously, but tell you a little bit more about the first net zero carbon police station. What CMPD is saying is setting a new standard for sustainable public safety facilities. There's going to be an almost 16,000 square foot building that's designed with the latest advancements in safety, tech, and environmental sustainability. This costing about $19.5 million. It is expected to be completed by the middle of 2027. So we will have the earlier press conference that just finished moments ago that should live on WCNC Plus on this app. If you're interested in hearing what our county leaders had to say, Malcolm Graham is also there, and again, Chief Johnny Jennings for CMPD. So a few more opportunities there for some live pictures as we are dipping into this live here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. As we come up on 10:16 here Tuesday morning, thanks for joining us, and it's been a very interesting, eventful morning with some technical issues and challenges, certainly making this two-woman team putting us on our toes a little bit this morning, but it's all good because it's what we do. We got it back up and running, and we move on. So thank you for downloading the WCNC Plus app to your Roku, Fire, or Apple TV. And that way, when feeds like this of the CMPD groundbreaking happen, we bring that to you live. Chris Mulcahy was just in studio giving us the latest on his forecast for what is definitely already a very soupy, sweaty week approaching the official summer solstice. Also today, it does mark a somber anniversary, marks a somber time, I should say, 10 years since the Charleston shooting. On this day, back in 2015, a white supremacist opened fire during a Bible study at Mother Emanuel AME Church, killing 9 black worshipers. Our Richard Devane was there in Charleston this morning, gathering some of the community's comments and reactions to the people who died on that day. So this is some of the sound bites that we were able to string together from folks there in Charleston reacting now to this somber day, 10 years later after the Emanuel 9.
We're here to remember and to keep the faith in our group, and to remember not only the sacrifices that happened, but again how the city and the community came together, and we come together every morning, and that's what matters.
Just you were here 10 years ago. Do you remember the events of 10 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Share with
Yes, sir.
with us a little bit what was going through your mind.
Well,
now?
Nobody knew what was going to happen after, right? And what was amazing is how the community came together, the walk on the bridge, the meeting together with Mount Pleasant and Charleston, and we really showed the world how you come together in tragedy, and that faith will overcome evil.
In the 10 years since then, have you seen change, or what have you seen?
You know, Charleston's a great, and the Low Country's a very Christian-rooted area, and I think we show over and over again that we come together, and that evil will not prevail in this town.
I wasn't living in Philly when it happened 10 years ago, so I wasn't here, but I was just struck by the tragedy. I felt terrible about it, and the first couple of anniversaries I still wasn't here, so since I've been here I've tried to make it every year. I've been a part of F3, and just to show some support for the community. I mean, because I don't live here in the city, you know, and I have a church out in the suburbs somewhere kind of thing, but yeah, just important to bear witness that we're all fellow humans. We're all made in God's image. We confess that all the time. We need to show it.
Still hurts.
Yeah. So.
What would you say to those victims' families and the community in general? Just they can see your emotion today.
I hope that they're continuing to heal, to move forward, while also being able to look back with good memories of their loved ones, the joy of those memories to carry them forward, and to know that the community is with them.
And you personally, how do you handle this?
I try to pray. I try to remember that ultimately all things work for good. Trust in God.
Folks here, very emotional for that man to share his testimony, and him being moved to participate in this group, the group F3, a group here who runs to commemorate the time from 10 years ago and that tragic day. So this is the group this morning that Richard Devane and our crew Ruben were able to be there to capture these moments before their run, and we appreciate them sharing their experience and bearing witness to what happened on that day. A lot of people are commemorating this day as we take a live look from the College of Charleston, not exactly Emanuel AME Church.
It's right down the road. It's not too far.
And Carlene, I know...
It's a quick walk.
Okay. Obviously, you're from Charleston.
Yes.
You're familiar with this story because this was
Very.
one of your first
News stories.
news stories. So,
Yeah.
as a journalist and then as someone who is from there, obviously.
It's a tough day. I
yeah.
cannot believe it's been 10 years.
Amazing.
It's just, it's kind of hard to swallow. It's been 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
It's hard to process still.
right. It's surreal at times.
Yeah.
And then when you put the pictures of the victims who lost their lives on that day, and you put them up, it hits you all over again.
Yeah.
And then hearing that fella there who shared that he wasn't even living in Charleston at the time, but it affected him so much that he is there in the Low Country and feels what they feel, and what a beautiful heart to have that compassion, to be so moved.
Yeah.
All right. Our Malcolm Graham, I actually mentioned him because he is county commissioner that was at that CMPD groundbreaking for their new property that's going to be happening in 2027. He also is related to one of the victims who lost her life in Charleston 10 years ago. And our Nick Sturdivant, who was also just here in the studio moments ago, spoke to Malcolm on that fateful day, a very emotional interview here. I know Nick is working on a story that will air later on WCNC Charlotte. And but we're going to bring this interview to you now on Live Impact News. This previously recorded, but with today being 10 years since the Emanuel 9. I wanted to play that for you in its entirety, previously recorded here. Again, thank you for watching Live Impact News on WCNC+.
Man, this is it's a story that it hits home.
Yeah.
For both you and I, right?
Yes.
You're from Charleston.
I am.
I have family in Somerville. Charleston's like a second home. So when June 17th, 2015, let me set the scene for you. I was a younger reporter in the Myrtle Beach market, and I got the call and about what happened. I'm like, what? So I called my family, I called my brother who's in Somerville, and I'm like, don't go anywhere. This is what happened. And so let me lay out what happened. So this June 17th, will mark 10 years since the Charleston church shooting, which claimed the lives of 9 people that attended a Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church, also known as Mother Emanuel. Among those victims, Cynthia Graham Hurd. She was a beloved librarian, community leader there, and I remember just being in shock. I remember going there eventually to downtown Charleston to cover the story, the funeral, those events that followed after, and it didn't just grip the Charleston community, but it gripped the nation.
Yeah.
And I want to bring on our special guest. Charlotte City Councilman Malcolm Graham, grandfather.
For sure.
For sure. He has the grandkids in. As we approach the anniversary, we're less than 3 weeks away from that anniversary, 10 years?
Yeah.
What comes to mind? What are the feelings?
I miss my sister, right? 10 years has gone since we lost her at the Emanuel AME Church shooting, and each and every day I miss her even more. She was personable, sharp, candid, a community leader in Charleston. She didn't run for public office, but she chaired the Housing Authority Board of Directors, cared about affordable housing gentrification, 31-year employee of the Charleston County Library System.
Wow.
Worked at night for 16 years at the College of Charleston as their night librarian, and role model, big sister, and political advisor. Just my rock. My mother died when I was 21, so Cynthia not only served as a big sister, but also as a mother figure. And so 10 years passed. I miss her even more, and we celebrate her life. We don't dwell on how she died. We know how she died. We celebrate who she was and who she loved and things that she cared about. And the library in Charleston is now named after her, the Cynthia Graham Hurd St. Andrews Regional Library. The College of Charleston highest academic scholarship. It's named after her, the Cynthia Graham Memorial Fund, and the University of South Carolina, where she received her master's degree in library science, has an anonymous donor donated well over $200,000 for a master's degree for African Americans who wants to be a librarian in her name. And so Cynthia used to joke with me all the time that I was the most famous person in the family because of my political pursuits, ran for Congress, served in the state Senate, did some other stuff, right? But certainly in her death, she's the most famous person in our family, and we're proud of her.
Oh, man. And I should have led with Malcolm Graham, the brother of Cynthia Graham Hurd. Take me back from the beginning. So, from Charleston, what does Charleston mean to you, and what was that like growing up with Cynthia in Charleston?
Yeah, born and raised in Charleston on Benson Street between Huger and Congress.
Okay.
Went to James Simmons Elementary, the whole high school of Charleston. I came to Charlotte on the tennis scholarship, so I played lots of tennis tournaments in the Charleston area at the Jack Adams tennis courts on Congress Street near the Citadel Football Stadium. Cynthia was my big sister by 5 years. I'm number 6 of a family of 6 children to Henrietta and Melvin Graham.
Oh, wow.
Emmanuel was a part of the fabric of our life, right? My mom went to Emmanuel. My grandmother went to Emmanuel. They both sung in the choir. My siblings and relatives all went to Emmanuel. My big sister Jackie got married there. I found the Lord there, said Easter speeches there. My father and my mother are buried in the graveyard there. Now Cynthia is as well. And so her death was shocking because not only did it happen in Charleston, but it happened in the place that we knew very, very well.
And that church, if you're not familiar, it's on Calhoun. That's Calhoun Street, right?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
110 Calhoun Street, this progressive African-American church, black church, Calhoun Street, John C. Calhoun, who was a racist, who was a member of the Klan, who wanted black folks to be dealt with and serve as cattle, right? And so all over Charleston, you got this history everywhere.
You have so many reminders in downtown Charleston, all over Charleston, quite frankly,
sure.
of the horrors of slavery and racism.
Yeah, for sure.
But that church is like the fabric of that community.
Yes.
I just passed that church. I was in Charleston last month for the Cooper Ridge Bridge Run.
You ran it?
I ran it.
Okay.
I made
Successfully?
it. I did. I did. But I got a chance to pass that church, and every time I'm in that area, I pass that church, I get chills because I just remember. I just go back to that time. 10 years ago.
It's and I wrote a book.
Yeah.
The Way Forward, and we talk about growing up in Charleston and what the church meant to me and my family, and how Charleston is so historic. I mean, it's hard to find a bad meal in Charleston.
Right.
If you love history, history's everywhere. If you love water's everywhere. It's a great city with the interesting past, right?
Yeah.
My mom would call Charleston nice, nasty, right? Nice on the outside, but then when you start peeling away from it based on its history, some unpleasantries with the community. 10 years ago, Charleston past became its present, right? With the killing of Cynthia and 8 others. We don't talk about that 5 other people survived the shooting that were there in the room. Polly Shepard, Felicia Saunders, the wife of Reverend Pinckney, her 2 kids, Felicia Saunders' grandkid. They were all in the room or in an adjoining room that survived the shooting. And, when you talk in the history of racism and slavery, etc., that night, its past became its present.
That moment in time, you mentioned Senator Pinckney, Reverend Senator Pinckney.
Senator Pinckney.
Yeah, State Senator Pinckney. I remember covering that funeral. And it's one of those moments that is etched in your mind forever because everybody was dressed in all black.
Yeah.
And it was so hot out there. So many people. That service was a beautiful service. It was a long service.
It was a long service.
I think we were waiting for President Obama to get there.
We were.
What do you remember from that day?
It was crazy, right? Reverend Pinckney, I knew because he was a state senator in South Carolina. I was a state senator in North Carolina. Obviously, when I would come home, I would go to Emmanuel, I would see him, so I knew him as well. Surreal, him being gone. Thousands of people there honoring him. The President of the United States there.
Leaders in Congress.
Leaders of Congress. Everyone was there. Sung this amazing choir that sung the Old Ship of Zion. Remember that song?
I remember,
The President gave such a eulogy and then sung Amazing Grace. And then Cynthia Graham Hurd found that grace. Funny story. I ran for the U.S. Congress, and Cynthia helped me with all my campaigns. And so she said, I'm going to help you get to Congress because obviously I want you to win, but if you win, I might get a chance to meet Michelle and Barack Obama. Unfortunately, we lost that campaign to Alma Adams. We came in second, so she didn't get the opportunity to meet them in life. But she met them in death because after he sung Amazing Grace, he and Michelle met with me and my family for well over 45 minutes and talked to us about Cynthia and about a wide variety of issues. Obviously, he mentioned her name when he said Cynthia Graham found that grace after he sung Amazing Grace. And so while she didn't get the opportunity to meet him in life, she met him and Michelle in death. I told the president, said, with all due respect, she was more interested in meeting Michelle than you. And he said, well, I get that all the time, right? So you're not offending me. I've heard it before. So it was, and that night was the first night we actually saw Cynthia in death as a family. We went right from the president's meeting with us to Fielding's Funeral Home, where we actually were able to be with Cynthia and comfort her in death and see her for the first. It's just, it was a long day.
Oh man, you've done so much work to honor her legacy with the foundation. What was that period? How long was that period from grieving to going out to, okay, I got to do something and to remember my sister?
It was immediately, right?
So it wasn't a long period?
No, it was immediately. It was immediately. I was at home watching the news. Unwritten rule in my household. I'm a political creature. My wife is not. No CNN, no MSNBC, no Fox News in the bedroom. And I'm there breaking the rules, 9 o'clock at breaking news, CNN, shooting at Emmanuel AME Church, 9:30. And I called Cynthia. Cynthia was my touch point, Charleston. Something like that happening in Charleston at the church. She would kind of know what was going on. So I called her, and obviously she didn't answer. And about 35 minutes went by. The news reports on all the channels got even worse. And then my niece called me and said, hey, we can't find Aunt Cynthia. We think she went to Bible study. And then right then you get this sickness feeling in your stomach that something bad had occurred. About an hour went by, 2 hours went by, no call from Cynthia. Chief Rodney Monroe, who was the police chief here in Charlotte at the time, I called, said, can you give me any information what's going on down there? And he said, let me see what I can do. And he called me back about an hour later, said, hey, from those who survived the shooting, they identified Cynthia as being at the church at the time of the shooting. Didn't say she was dead or alive, whatever, just making sure that I knew that she was there. And then immediately I just knew, you get this sixth sense. Yeah. And immediately when I saw her that night for the first time after Obama's speech, I was like, I'm going to be your voice. I'm going to be your advocate. At that point in time, people were saying that they forgave, right, the shooter. And I was like, no, we're not going to. It is too early to talk about forgiveness. We got to create what I call some healthy tension. There were some hard questions that needed to be asked, some more information that we needed to know. Did he act alone? Was this, just all those things that we needed to focus on other than the forgiveness of the killer. Right? And so immediately I wanted to be her voice. I was a different opinion from those who were saying, we forgive. I'm like, no, we got some questions to ask. And so I began to be her advocate, her advocate about the naming of the library, which happened like 3 days after she was killed, right at the county council meeting. Being her advocate when they were talking about bringing down the Confederate flag, being her advocate at court, being her advocate that although she died with 9 others, she was her own person. She had her own space. She had her own family, right? So making sure that people remembered her. Not the Emanuel 9, I get it, but remembering Cynthia, right? And I continue to be her advocate for things that matter. And so, yeah, I mean, you just keep, like one of my favorite mottos is that we use about Cynthia and the foundation is keep the faith and do the work, right? Just focus on the work. And so it's the work of, after Charleston, the library renamed, planning her homecoming service, planning the obituary, planning meeting with the President Obama. She's an AKA, working with the AKAs to form their Beyond the Wall ceremony, which is a going away ceremony. Working with Nikki Haley and the South Carolina General Assembly about bringing the flag down. There's a picture of me when she signed the bill. I'm standing right behind her when she signed the bill, right? So I kept busy doing the work, being an advocate for not only her, but for a race of people, right? Because Cynthia would have said, although I died that night and 9 others died with me, 8 others died with me, the attack really was against a race of people, not just me and Reverend Pinckney, Sharonda Singleton. It was anyone who happened to be there and who happened to be black. So it didn't matter who they were, what their backgrounds were. The only thing that mattered that night was that they were there and that they were black. Dr. King said that when he gave the eulogy at the 16th Avenue Baptist Church, where 4 little girls were killed in a bombing, he said, pay little attention to the killer and more attention to the system that produced the killer. And so I use all that time is to try to work in my city council work, or my past life as a state senator or congressional candidate, is to try to fix systems so that everyone can feel that they're playing and working from an equal perspective. And as you can tell with this new administration, there's a lot of systems that we need to fix. The political system, where there's an attack on black history, an attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, an attack on banning books, which Cynthia's library would be like crazy about. No, we can't do this. Focusing on education about what universities can do and what they can't do and what they can teach. The border, we should have immigration policies. I agree with that, but you can't allow 51 white Afrikaners to come to the country, and then you're kicking out all black and brown folks. And so we got to create an environment where healthy tension can exist, where we can kind of speak truth to power, and really begin to stand up for the rights of people. There's no denying that the demographics of our country is changing, right? And we can't make America great by going back 40 years at a time wasn't so great for folks that look like me and you, right? And so we got to do the work.
What would Cynthia say now? What do you think she would say now to the work that you're doing? And you made that pact with yourself 10 years ago that you were going to keep her name alive. You're doing that. You continue to do the work. What would she say?
She would say, keep the faith, do the work. Keep the faith, do the work. Keep the faith, do the work. And that's why I kind of wrote the book, The Way Forward, which talks about, okay, we know how she died, right? We're not going to focus on that. But what do we have to do as a nation, as a society, to move forward? What type of examples do we need to demonstrate to encourage everybody, black, white, rich, poor, young, old, that we're all in this together, that we're all going to die, that we all bleed red, and that somehow we got to kind of do the work. And that's why the book was so 10 years later for me to kind of put my personal feelings in writing. I'm an author that didn't bring a book to an interview should be penalized, right? I'm grabbing the grandkids, and I grab everything.
You had your hands full.
Their book bags, their raincoats, their 2-year-old's diapers. I got everything I need except the book, right? The book is the way forward, and it honors Cynthia by writing what happened from my perspective day by day, gives a little history lesson about Charleston, and then it really focused on, okay, now what do we do? How do we move forward? We got a big town hall meeting in Charleston on June 12th. My good friend Bakari Sellers is going to be down there with me to moderate a panel discussion with some outstanding panelists. The young lady who's the president and CEO of the African American History Museum in Charleston, she'll be with Bakari and I talking about the book. And we'll be June 12th in Charleston at Emmanuel AME Church. Tanya Tuppence with the Signs of the Time here in Charlotte will be traveling to Charleston with me on June 12th to help us start that town hall meeting with praise and worship, just honoring Cynthia. Wow. That's the faith, keep the faith, and then the work is working with Bakari and others to say, okay, now what? What are we going to do? And so keep the faith, do the work. Keep the faith, do the work. Keep the faith, do the work is what Cynthia would say. And she would probably, Cynthia was a big Jesse Jackson fan, she would say, you know, Jesse said one time that tears and sweat are both salty, but they render different results. Tears will get you sympathy, sweat will get you change. And so we all need to dry our eyes, right? Keep the faith, and then do the work. And the work is hard work. The work right now in 2025 is speaking truth to power. And you can get penalized for that, as you can see what's happening in current times. But Cynthia would say, keep the faith, Malcolm, do the work. Proud of you for writing this book. The biggest honors when I went down to Charleston for a book signing, and the librarian walked me to the section of the library where the book was kept. And I thought that was cool. And Cynthia probably would say, this guy can't even string a sentence together. Now he's writing books. Yeah, so she would want us just to kind of do the work, figure it out. You know, just don't take a knee, fight the power, create a healthy tension, and remember that she lived.
You mentioned the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and I remember bumping into Reverend Jesse Jackson at the state capitol, South Carolina State Capitol, when the Confederate flag came down. There's so much going on. So as a young reporter, and I'm walking through the thousands of people, and I'm like, oh, wow, Jesse Jackson.
Well, he actually gave the eulogy at Cynthia's funeral.
Yeah. There was so many so much that happened during that time.
I have a long relationship with Reverend Jackson. When I ran for state senate in North Carolina, when robocalls was a new thing, he did a robocall for me, endorsing my candidacy. I used to manage a nonprofit organization here in Charlotte, and he came to be my dinner speaker when he was a presidential candidate, and obviously he reached out upon Cynthia's death, and we invited him to share, and he did an amazing job putting in perspective of what happened then, things that he fought for, and what happened 10 years ago at Emmanuel.
Wow. Carlene, do you have a question? Carlene's a Charleston native, too.
I am a Charleston.
She's a Charleston girl. Charleston girl.
It's more of a question. I just say thank you for keeping her voice alive and keeping this story alive. You know, there's so many people that move to the Carolinas every day that probably don't realize the impact of what that day was. And so thank you for continuing to share Cynthia's story.
Well, thank you, Charlestonian, and it's and tears are good.
Tears are good. I mean, it's been a minute, but just like
tears are
it
good.
takes you right back to it,
and
you know?
sometimes, you know, I remember one time, two stories. One, my daughters, who were college kids at that time when she died. Cynthia just was at our house for Courtney's graduation from Winston-Salem State that May. And my other daughter was away at summer school at UNCG that summer when she died. And they said, "Daddy, we've never seen you cry." And they, you know, and yeah, so it hurts, right? And it means that you're in touch with your humanity, right? That's black, white, rich, poor, it doesn't matter, that you're human, and you kind of understand what happened. And so I kind of get where people said the faith we forgive, right? I kind of get it, but it's so Charleston, right? Charleston is one of those towns. My mom was a domestic worker, my father a truck driver, and in that black-white relationship back in, again, I'm 62, right? Back in when I was a high school kid was pretty sharp, right? And so folks would just want to just get along. Let's do what we got to do to get along. Let's not make any waves, right? And so I understood where the forgiveness thing came from. Sometimes you just got to make some waves, right? And ask the tough questions. And so I really appreciate you. I appreciate the tears, because again, one night I was just taking a shower and just started crying, right? You know, just thinking about her.
That release.
It's
just that release was kind of like like a volcano. You let that sort of rumble underneath the surface. It's going to erupt at some. Oh man, and I just want to give. We talk about the Charleston area. I just want to. The Moncks Corner, North Charleston,
Goose Creek, the Creek, right? West Ashley, Johns Island, James Island, right?
It changes so much.
Malone Island, for those who country.
Walterboro.
Walterboro.
It changes so much every time I go back. It changes so much. I don't know if y'all feel like that.
Oh my gosh! Every time I go home,
if you go, you know this. You go to Charleston. When the College of Charleston is in session, and you go on King Street on a Friday or Saturday night, it's like you're on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It is just, the police have blocked off the street. There's foot traffic from the Battery, literally all the way down to, I guess, not Meeting Street. Where's the old Piggly Wiggly used to be?
Up near, it's up near, no, isn't it Meeting?
Yeah. Go further down Meeting Street. Where old C.A. Brown High School used to be over there, and that's where folks really didn't go over there. They didn't go over there. Right? It was pretty rough, but now it is flowing of people and traffic, and it's a life that I kind of like. But again, is that what my mom says, that nice nasty, right? And you start peeling away, and that's why understanding our history is so important in reference to what happened in Charleston, or what happened at the 16th Avenue Baptist Church with the little girls who were bombed by Klansmen, or what happened during slavery, or Jim Crow, or segregation. We cannot just erase that history as though it didn't happen. We have to learn from it and embrace it as a country, versus trying to pretend that it didn't exist, or pretend that, you know, there's no 4-star generals that are African Americans in the Army, or that somehow diversity is not a strength for our country or our state. So we just gotta, you know, use Charleston as a living example of history, not just Black history, but American history, and be able to learn from it.
That is Malcolm Graham, a proud brother, grandfather, father, husband.
And they have behaved themselves tremendously.
The best guest.
Carter 4, Ashton 2, and a shameless plug. You can get the book, The Way Forward, Amazon online, Barnes & Noble online, or you can go to the Park Road bookstore in the Park Road Shopping Center and get the book, The Way Forward.
And the town hall is June 12th.
June 12th, 6 o'clock p.m., Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh man, this was awesome. You are always welcome back here on Live Impact News. So thank you for your time. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been great.
Of course. All right.
Malcolm Graham, City Council member Malcolm Graham, sharing his experience and remembering 10 years after the Emanuel tragedy in Charleston. Looking live right now at the church, Mother Emanuel AME Church, as they have a service plan for 11 o'clock, and they will remember the lives lost again. Some healing, hope, prayers, and you can see that the church is filling up in Charleston. And we will be airing that and streaming the service starting at 11 here on WCNC Plus. This will be available on the secondary channel, so you just need to exit this main channel and then hit one of the other buttons. It'll indicate live on your app. They're on your Roku, Fire, or Apple TV. We appreciate you watching here as we remember 10 years since that awful, awful day. Want to bring you right now to what's happening in Washington, D.C. It looks like there are senators that are meeting. This is a Senate judiciary hearing to protect older Americans from scammers. This is live on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
And stop financial exploitation of older adults. In her work, she engages frontline employees at banks, credit unions, investment firms, retailers, and other providers of financial products and services. Under her guidance, AARP's Bank Safe initiative has trained 1 in 10 financial industry frontline employees who have saved older adults more than $100 million from exploitation. Ms. Gunther holds a JD degree from University of Utah, master's degree in social work from Washington University in St. Louis. After Ms. Gunther, we have Joshua Berque, the executive director of the industry Traceback Group and vice president policy and advocacy at the U.S. Telecom, the Broadband Association. Through the Traceback Group, Mr. Berque leads an effort to identify the source and stop illegal calls. In his U.S. Telecom role, he heads U.S. Telecom's policy development and advocacy on digital trust and consumer protection. Before joining U.S. Telecom, Mr. Berque was a partner at the D.C. telecommunications law firm's privacy practice, where he worked on automatic calling related legal, regulatory, and policy issues. Brady Finta, founder and CEO of the National Elder Fraud Coordination Center, where Mr. Finta served in the FBI for almost 25 years, where his work focused on combating organized crime, gangs, and child pornography. He also served as supervisor of the Cross-Border Violence Task Force, where he specialized in transnational organized crime investigations, including kidnappings, murders, cartel finance, and money laundering. In 2018, he established the FBI's San Diego Elder Justice Task Force and this year he opened and leads the National Elder Fraud Coordination Center. The center combats scams by aggregating and analyzing private and public sector through an organized crime lens. It ties cases together and creates high-dollar investigative packages of federal law enforcement investigation. Now, before you begin your testimony, we swear members at this hearing, so please rise so I can give the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? They've all answered positively. Ms. Helms, start out.
Thank you, Senator Grassley and Senator Durbin, for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is April Helm. I'm here because my mother, Sherry Tyson, lost $350,000 to a romance scam before her passing in 2020 while undergoing treatment for late-stage ovarian cancer. It's been a long, frustrating, and heartbreaking journey that has brought me to this moment. And before I share the details, I want to express just how surreal it is that I'm sitting here with you today. In 2018, while undergoing cancer treatment, she became even more isolated, more susceptible. One day, while I was headed to a football game in my hometown, I received a text from her. It said, "I gave all my money away. I have nothing. Come get me." I was in shock. She promised, but she had lost her apartment, her car, everything. I told her she could move in with me, but on one condition, and that was she couldn't talk to the scammer in my house. She refused. She couldn't let go of the fantasy they'd sold her. Instead, she moved in with her sister in Mobile, Alabama. And when that didn't work out, she asked me to come get her so she could start fresh in Dallas with my brother. We made a plan to move her that day, but scammers had another plan. One of their tactics is to keep victims awake all night, exhausted and disoriented.
Thanks for joining us here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I mentioned earlier that a service to commemorate 10 years of that tragic day where 9 people lost their lives 10 years ago in Charleston at Mother Emanuel AME Church is having a service at 11 o'clock. You can see the church filling up there. We are going to take this on our secondary channel on WCNC Plus, but we will leave you with the pictures and the sights and sounds here of the church as the music, beautiful music now underway. Thanks for joining me. Charlotte's Day is up next.